let's start with Chicago. That's where it all begins. The #1 overall pick, of course, is what the Chicago Bears have. And if Caleb Williams is selected first overall by the Bears, it's going to be the first time in a while that Chicago has a quarterback with Pro Bowl talent. The last time the Bears had a QB selected to the Pro Bowl was Jim McMahon back in 1985. And in fact, Chicago has had just 4 different quarterbacks selected since the first Pro Bowl in 1951. That's 4 in 73 years. Bears GM Ryan Poles spoke about the team's draft plans earlier this week.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things I think everyone's got to tune in on Thursday to watch and figure out. But I feel really good about our process and where we are and where we're headed. So, yeah, we know what we're going to do, but everyone's going to have to wait till Thursday to go there.
I love the sly smile there. Still trying to keep a little bit of mystery is Ryan Poles. Courtney Cronin joining us here. And it's probably going to happen that Caleb Williams is going to have a Chicago area address, Courtney. But as you get closer and closer to this moment, anything you're hearing about pre-draft night jitters for the #1 overall pick?
Yeah, Laura, it's a matter of hours at this point until Caleb Williams officially becomes a Bear. And there's a good chance that right now he's still playing Monopoly cards in his hotel room as he gets ready for draft night. That's where our cameras caught up with him earlier today, where a relaxed Williams, who, by the way, got a full night of sleep ahead of the draft, decided that he wanted to spend time with friends and family getting ready for the moment that he has been dreaming of for the last 12 years. It's a moment he's excited for. He's going to soak it all in. But he said that he's ready to get it over with and get back to football. He hasn't played in a game since November 18th, and that all-business display was on approach yesterday when he was asked about Chicago and the feel that he got for the city. But instead, it's here at Hallis Hall where his focus has been since his top 30 visit earlier this month on building those relationships with the coaches and players he's going to be around every day during his rookie season. And while mastering an offense becomes his next challenge that he'll start attacking in a couple of weeks, he cannot wait to teach his teammates this Monopoly cards game that he picked up while shooting Wendy's commercials while in college. Excited to be able to get a deeper bond with the teammates he's going to be in a locker room with just about a couple feet from where I'm standing right now.
Yeah, really cool to think about. Thanks to Courtney for the latest there. Courtney also told us yesterday that Caleb's going to be wearing the navy blue suit, little ode to Chicago potentially.
Turn up.
Marcus, what do you like about his style of play?
Well, you know, we talk about the ability to throw the football. We talk about the plays that he makes within structure, and I almost felt like a negative connotation around him playing out of structure started to develop as we talked about this. I'm going to go into being a defensive player in the NFL. We love when we can game plan for you. We love when we know what you're doing. We love when we know what type of quarterback you are. And the reason why you've heard these comparisons to Patrick Mahomes is because the worst nightmare for a defense is when we can literally do everything right.
Sure.
And you still cut us and gut us up throughout a football game. And I think that's the trait that we haven't highlighted enough when it comes to Caleb Williams. A lot of these defenses had plans until they got on the field and saw that we can't do nothing about that, coach. And I've been on sidelines with Dean Pease as the defensive coordinator with the Baltimore Ravens when Peyton Manning was carving us up, and Dean told us on the phone, I don't know what the hell you want me to do. That's what Caleb Williams reminds me of.
I agree with you. The out-of-structure plays are magical, but what he's able to do within structure, I think, is a big part of why he's the #1 overall pick. Ryan had a great interview with him on the pivot where Caleb said something that I loved, which is, listen, the highlights everybody sees, but in the pocket, look up my stats. They're the best in the class. And he was telling the truth. When he was not pressured last year, when he was kept clean, which frankly was all too rare behind that USC offensive line, of all the prospects in this class, best adjusted completion percentage, lowest turnover-worthy play, highest passer rating of any Power 5 quarterback when he's kept clean. He can win in the pocket. He can win within structure. For me, it's just more of a question of will he do it consistently?
And I go back to this. Al Golden, who's the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman head coach, they developed a game plan that was built, in their words, to beat Patrick Mahomes. That's what they would have done. So if you're the Bears, you're watching that tape, and that's been my hesitation with Caleb. That game and I'm saying that's the first time you saw NFL fronts, NFL coverage, NFL rotations. I think that's going to be where Chicago's going to have to groom his development.
Incredible talent, but some work to be done either way. And one of the ways, RC, they can help him is by adding other pieces. They also had that 9th overall pick, a real big opportunity. Would you go offense, get him a piece there, or the other side of the ball?
So here's the beautiful thing about this show, especially going last. Like, everybody gets to feed me, and then I get to eat. Marcus followed Courtney talking about doing Wendy's commercials. You only do Wendy's commercials in college if you win the Heisman.
Sure.
Right? And you got to win the Heisman and have another year if you want to do commercials. Mina talked about the way that he can operate out the pocket when he was protected, but also said he wasn't protected. And now Dan is using tape where he met NFL players and NFL defensive schemes and didn't play well. You know what he ain't have? NFL wide receivers. Right? We did this show last year. Did we talk about anyone that played the skill positions for USC?
Nah.
No. Same thing this year. So if you go out and you get a Rome Odunze, you add him with the Keenan Allen, the DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift in the backfield, this is going to be the best set of skill players Caleb Williams has ever played with. And we talk about some of those plays where he goes above the X's and O's. It's because he had to. You put him in a system where he doesn't, and now those plays are timely. I think you can get a lot out of this young man.
The structure of the conversation, credit to our producer, Mark Eisman, for that. Also, ESPN Analytics Draft Predictor says that Rome Odunze has a 50% chance to be there at 9 with the Bears pick.
I don't think the Patriots have a difficult decision at 3 in taking Drake May. I think where things get tricky for them is what Mike Reese alluded to, which is you have pick 34, right?
Yes.
How are you going to fix the talent issue? It's not just wide receiver, it's also offensive tackle. Do you feel, because you have this rookie quarterback and you need to eventually, maybe not right away, what Jacoby said, put him in a position to succeed, how can you improve his situation to make it more like the one we talked about at the top of the show with Caleb Williams? Because right now it is about as far in the NFL from that as you can get.
Real quick, last year was the worst pass protecting offensive line. Their leading wide receiver had 561 yards and their leading back had 642. It's the worst skill position group in the NFL. So it's no place for a rookie quarterback to go play right away.
I mean, so along those lines, if you draft Drake May, you just sit him for an entire season. You let Jacoby Brissett play the entire year. Give us a little bit more.
Well, I think, yes, because of the situation and also because of the player. I think two things that have to happen if you're New England and you draft Drake May. You got to slow him down and you got to widen him out. So often he was so ready because he didn't get taught mechanics with his feet at North Carolina. He's ready to throw. And the receivers aren't ever even remotely close to being open. Watch his feet up hop. So Drake is already set and is looking for the receivers. They're 5 yards away from getting to the top of their breaks. Now, when you're staring downfield, defenders, Ryan, you know this, they're following your eyes. So, like, he's playing so hurried, he gets off of those guys before they're ever getting into their cuts. And then it's, oh, my gosh, panic mode, dump the ball off. No, I can't run around, take a sack, instead of just playing a little bit slower with his feet. And then watch how vertical he stands throwing this top route.
Oh, wow.
He's standing straight up. There's no flex in his lower half. There's no athleticism for a guy that's unbelievably athletic. And then there's that pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Whenever we see a quarterback's feet start here and they take time to get to here, you're all over the place when it comes to your mechanics. Your shoulders start to wobble. Your eyes will follow, and it takes time.
Dan, is there any way when you're looking at his mechanics that he could be ready before the end of the year, though?
You know, RC, good question. Yes, but it's going to have to take from 2 months ago all the way through training camp and whatnot, and the burden of not playing. That's why I say don't play, so he can work on it every day. I think if you get to like December and you're completely out of it and you want to play him 2 or 3 games to get him reps, similar to like what happened with Patrick, absolutely. I'm just saying you don't play him with the, hey, we got to go win this game on Sunday's burden.
Yeah, you got to think too. I mean, they have to manage that so carefully from the confidence standpoint. There's so many things at play. To your point, the other option is trading out of that number 3 spot, going back. I don't know if Patriots fans love that because maybe there's some hope in drafting quarterback of the future. What do you think about that option?
Look, we know the value of the position, and we've seen how it changes franchise. We talked about it at the end of the year. Think about how the difference in tone we had with Houston after C.J. Stroud signed there. Think about the difference in tone when Joe Burrow showed up in Cincinnati. I'm not saying
about it with Minnesota now.
Minnesota as well.
I'm
not saying either one of these guys are those guys, but what I'm saying is if you can get that position right, it gives you the flexibility to do everything else that we're talking about. And one other thing, we talk about how bad the situation was for the quarterback in New England. It was bad for those skill position guys, too. Like, as much as we talk about how bad bad they are and terrible,
not wrong.
it was horrible for everybody in that particular situation.
You can't go without taking a shot at the quarterback, can you?
Bro, listen, no, I'm just saying, we always talk about how bad it was for the quarterback. They had 17 offensive coordinators in 3 weeks in New England.
By the way, they're used to success. I mean, this number tells it really well. The Patriots haven't picked in the top 3 since 1993. That, of course, is when they drafted Drew Bledsoe, number 1 overall.
That was a great
it's been
pick.
a while. I know. It was.